Boo! I bet I scared you. You dum-dums. So easy to scare. I scare you every time. I just know it. And if I didn't, then you must be dead. It's time for music. Okay. You know, I recorded I recorded a voiceover of Catullus 16. I've been wanting to upload that for a while. I just don't know what I'd put as the video components. Like I could see, it doesn't have the same bite if I just don't put up the translation, but also I'm not sure if I want that. But it's so fun. I also wanted to do one of Buena Luz because I really like some of the phrases there. Maybe I'll like make a thing where I go over some funny phrases in Buena Luz. One of my favorites is I in maximum malenkrugen, which means I hope you go on the most evil cross. Well, that's the literal translation. It literally just means go kill yourself in Latin. Pretty cool, right? Okay. So today I have a lot of stuff I want to do. But first, it's time for some harmony. Don't you all know about harmony? So, let me tell you guys some stuff about what I plan to do. For a while I've been, or I guess you guys should look at my face, hold on. My very real, you know what? I'm getting tired of having this Windows Vista background. Not that I dislike Windows Vista, but I think it's time for a new background. Okay, what's my new background gonna be? I don't think I have any new images to put in here, but I guess we'll see. Okay, what do I have in my screenshots folder? Do I have anything I can put in my background? I have screenshots of me doing the Wordle and being really bad at it. Wow, I don't have a lot of screenshots. Dang. Do I have any funny images in my wallpapers? No. Maybe I can put like good gifs up there. I know I'm like a sheet music tuber or whatever, and I should probably be making a thing music themed, but I don't care. What about this? Bang! Yeah, there you go. That's pretty, isn't it? Okay, we'll have that, I guess. Oh, you can you can very clearly see my outlines. Oh, that's awful. Hold on, maybe I can fix that. If I just set my color, blah 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 blah. Let's do like a nice dark, like a dark green, like a deep dark green. There you go. Or maybe blue would be better. No, I'll do green. No, let's do blue. Color picker. Dark blue. Is dark blue better? Dark blue is better. Okay. Not that it matters that much, but whatever. Hello. I have a picture of the dungeon shot from the Lord of the Rings movie. I see. I don't have that. I thought I had more images on my computer, I'm not gonna lie. I really thought I had more. Okay. Hello. Okay. It's time for some writing. Okay, so was it Cherry Blossoms? This is a date. Somehow I'm trying to find a way to make fun of you for that, but I can't think of a way that isn't just sad. So instead I'm going to talk about what I was going to talk about, which is, as you probably all know, I've been wanting to make like music tutorial videos for a while, but I could never do it because I'm really bad at just like improving to nobody. Like if I just sit down and record something, I'll stumble over my words a bunch because I'm like formulating sentences and I don't script it. I guess I could, but I just hate scripting stuff. I absolutely hate it. Um, and I do have that script for SATB that I am probably not sure what's gonna happen. Finally streamed it isn't at 9 p.m. Well, yeah, it's because I actually have time right now. Isn't that crazy? Um, I think I'm gonna do music stuff, and then I'm gonna hop on a call with my friends later, and I think we're gonna play that new trolley problem game that came out on Steam. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I'm so excited to play that trolley problem game. It's called the Trolley Solution. Oh man. We'll continue playing, or I guess I'm not recording it because some of the people there don't like being recorded. That's fine. But we were playing a game of the Game of Life on on Tabletop Sim. Oh man, that's a whole lot of fun. Even if it's just the Game of Life. We tried to play Uno, but nobody could follow the rules. Moral dilemmas, the game. Yeah, you guys don't understand. The trolley solution, it's the trolley. It's everything I love about the trolley problem. And then if you take everything I love about the trolley problem and throw it all out, because it's it's something. Oh, who knows what it is? Okay. That's the point of Uno. There are no rules. I mean, yeah, but there were no rules when we played Uno, but once we sat down to play the Game of Life, everyone huddled around the rule book like, okay, everyone, it's time to get serious for the Game of Life. It was so awesome. And I've been saying this for a while now, but I've always wanted to find people with whom we could play, or I could play Monopoly, but I don't know enough people that not don't have the patience for that, because although you need patience, I guess, to play Monopoly, if you're playing it with like friends who know how to improv, um, then it's fun. My friends know how to improv. They play D&D. I don't, but they do. But whenever I hop on a stream with someone that doesn't know how to improv or like how to banter, it's so awkward. Like I don't know what to do because I'm so talkative. And then I say something to them, I say a joke, and then I get no response, no comeback, and I'm like, okay, man, I sure hope that was funny. Monopoly takes days to finish. It's because you guys aren't playing aggressively enough, is the thing. It takes days to finish because you guys don't understand that the game is called Monopoly. Guys, the game is called Monopoly. You know you're supposed to buy everything that you see, right? It's not called socialism. Okay? It's not called the state owns the means of production, okay? It's called Monopoly. I hope I get a good grade in improv comedy. Man, I don't... See, it is something that me and my friend Anna were talking about. And this never happened. It was just an idea, and it didn't happen because schedules conflicted. But we had an idea where we would have a D&D podcast. And mind you, I've never played D&D. But the catch is, even though I've never played it, the catch was that everything we do would be randomly decided by a series of like wheels that we would spin, and also by a bunch of like improv games. So you know that game where you go around in a circle with a bunch of people and you guys say one word each and then complete a story? That was how we were going to make our lore, is by doing that exact thing. And then, like, every so often, whenever something happens, we'd spin a wheel of random stuff that would happen. Like, randomly, you would switch characters, and randomly, something completely non sequitur would happen, or the genre of the whole thing would change. That was the idea, but it never happened because, again, of schedules. So, that sounds fun. Exactly, it does sound fun. Because it all stemmed from the idea that, like, people that start up new podcasts, unless they're like interviewing people or they're talking about the news or something like sports or politics, unless they're talking about stuff like that, eventually it seems like they run out of things to talk about, you know? Like you'll notice that, except cold ones, they're still going, but like it feels like a lot of people just kind of run out of energy and they feel like they don't have anything left to give to the podcast. But like besides having to talk about the news or interview people, I think the next best thing is to like gamify it, right? If you can make it a game, then it will basically last forever. So that's where we got the idea, of course, of a D&D podcast. But of course, those are nothing new. So we tried to come up with something that was explicitly different than those. So in a way, it's basically just whose line is it anyway. But we structure it around the Dungeons and Dragons, so at least there's some kind of continuity. But I am down to just play Whose Line on a show every week or something. I think I actually have more fun doing that than stupid Dungeons and Dragons. All I care about is the funny parts. I don't care about rolling dice. Okay. I have musical questions. When I want to interleave the harmonies rather than just semi-brief chords. What words did you just say at me? Do I just layer the counter melodies or move the chords around? What are you, like the CEO of music? What words did you just throw at me? I mean, I think I know what all of them mean, but when you string them together like that, I don't know what you just said. Okay. Well, what was I saying? Right, I wanted to make music tutorial videos, and I have an idea for one. You'll see here. I actually took this piece that I wrote. You guys probably know it, and I marked down a bunch of notes. So I wrote here the key. I wrote here which chords I borrowed, or which modes I borrowed chords from. Which accidentals I modified because of those borrowed chords. How I wrote these modulations. I wrote all of this out, and I intended to record a video of myself going through all this, but I realized that'd be really boring. So I'm going to do something else instead. Don't worry, this is a copy of a project. I'm not actually deleting this. Except I am. Goodbye. Link. Get rid of all the key signatures too. How do you arpeggiate the underlying chords and tie it in with the melodic material? How do you arpeggiate the underlying chords? Like, instead of block chords, how to spread it across? Okay. Well, you mean interweave the harmonies, rather than just semi-brief. Okay, so if you're talking about, I believe when I took music theory, they were called broken and blocked chords. So blocked chords is when you block them, and then broken chords is when you break them. I mean, okay, so let me be super real. There are multiple ways of doing this. You know, you can just look at how the other composers did it. You know how Mozart did it? He had the Alberti bass. If you look how Chopin did it, he just kind of did a bunch of open harmony. He also did blocked chords, but like he also did a bunch of like open arpeggios. If you look at how Debussy and Ravel, especially Ravel, if you look at how Ravel wrote for piano, it's a lot of just big sweeping arpeggios with a lot of whatchamacallit, extensions. So of course it just depends on what you're going for. Usually I just block chords because I'm lazy. I mean, if you look here, it's all just blocked chords, but wow, thanks, you're welcome. I mean, what am I supposed to tell you? You need to do it just like this. This is how you break up chords. By breaking them up. I don't know, what do you want from me? Okay. Bang. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so there are some hidden instruments here that I have now revealed to you. They're very revealing. So my plan here is to go through this. What are you up to? I don't know. Go to sleep now? Alright, I hope harmony haunts your dreams and you can never escape functional harmony for the rest of your life. As I can't. So this is the exercise that we're starting with today. Because I want to create like a video, like a short and sweet video where I show you how to write chord progressions, or how to take a chord progression and make it more interesting. Because that's a question that I get asked a lot because I write so many chords, is how to make interesting chords. And it's not difficult, and I feel like I explain it every time, but I feel like I need to just put a video out there so I can just show people that instead of having to explain every time. Okay, so that's what we're doing right now, and I'm going to add 500 measures here into our after selection. Let's add not 0 measures. What happens if I try to add 0 measures? It adds 1 measure. That's not 0. That doesn't make any sense. Add a measure. Insert after selection. Add a bunch. Delete that. Okay. Bar line. Doink. Okay. So, I'm not sure if I'm gonna go through my thought process a bunch here. What if you add negative number measures? Actually, that's a good question, but I feel like it's just gonna end up being 1 again. But... Yep. It doesn't let me do negatives. This is so sad. It doesn't let me add 0 either. I really thought it would have just done something, or maybe an Easter egg, but it's like, no, what the heck are you doing? That doesn't make any sense. Okay. It's time to get to writing. So, this is diatonic chord progression. I'll just play it. I mean, I'm sure you've all heard it already, but... It's all just plain and simple major chords. I think I use every chord here. 1, 2... Do I use 3? I use 3 here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, I use every chord. Okay. I mean, that's probably the cheesiest chord progression you've ever heard in your life. So, my thing is, how do you make this more interesting? Well, there are plenty of ways to do this. This is my way. Take all the chords that you think are boring and lame. Let's say this chord right here, and you want to change it to something cool. Or maybe this one. Maybe even that one. Or maybe I should have started with something a bit more simple. Maybe if I reduce these chords back to their... If I reduce these chords back to their main functions, then I think we can have a starting point there. So that means if you're functionally tonic, you are, what is this, C major, so just go back to C, wait. No, you're over E, therefore your first inversion. Or that's not, no, this is correct. Move back to C here. I don't think any of these notes need to change. And move you to be a simple 4 chord. And keep this nice dominant here. The continuo really decides what the chords are. Okay, wait, let me just verify here. E, you're in C major. This should be C, and A can stay. Good, oh, okay. Good. Move you back to 1, again, just for the sake of example. You go down to G. You move back down, yeah, you move up to C. You guys are C, A, go to G. I guess the melody doesn't really follow no more, but whatever. I don't really care that much. You are F. A dominant chord over F, huh? I guess that would be the 3rd inversion, technically, but I'm not happy about it. I think I'll just put you like this, just to get rid of my headache. So all of you Ds, not Ds, Fs move to G. Just to drive the point home, I'll move you also up to G. And then for this, I'll put an inversion so it feels less complete. So therefore, the closest one should probably just be 2nd inversion. Bang! Bow! There you go. C, A, G. Make you 4 again. Beautiful. Y'all move down to C. D, C. There you go, okay. So now I've reconverted this back to the primary chords. I'll make a note here. You are primary chords. Can I make you nice and bold and also underlined? Thank you. Why are you... Why are you like that? I'll call you related chords. And I'm going to bold and underline you. And you're the original progression. So we'll take you, and then I will use this to demonstrate some different ways to make the chords more interesting. So after related chords, the next thing I suggest is trying to modify chords by making them diminished or augmented, or major or minor. So I'll call you... What would you even call that? I don't think there's a word for that. Parallel chords? I don't think that's quite true. Not parallel. Parallel describes something. I mean, there's like parallel keys. I'll call you major, minor, diminished, augmented, switcheroo. I don't know. Okay. So the theory behind this is because all the chords are going to stay the same function, you can, in fact, change them. Isn't it justifiable as modal interchange? It is. It's just that, although the thing about modal interchange is that modal interchange is guaranteed to work. But of course, you don't have to stick to what the modes say. And plus, modal interchange, I think, for someone that's just starting out or doesn't necessarily know a whole lot about chords, like maybe they know about the symbols, but they don't really know anything about modes. And I don't expect them to know about modes, because modes they're a little niche if you're not like a classical musician, right? And I think this might be an easier way. I mean, I could say, like, because it is true that if you just modify chords, if you make them major, minor, diminished, augmented, and or if you flatten or sharpen them, sometimes you'll reach a modal chord, and that'll basically guaranteed to work. But of course, it doesn't need to be modal to work. Like, I've used plenty of non-modal chords using this technique, and they still, in my opinion, work just fine. Like, I've used like a sharp 3 diminished chord before, and I think that worked just fine. However, that chord doesn't exist in any of the 7 modes. So it's just like, again, like the modal interchange, of course, you're right. It's a great place to start. I think it's more a guide than like a chart. It's more like a set of guidelines rather than a rule. Okay. Therefore, what chords do I want to change? I could make it so... I quite like the sound of the diminished 5th chord, so let me try that. Which, by the way, is a Phrygian chord. And y'all move down. G. Just... And then I believe D, flat, and B flat, not A flat. Move you guys up. There you go. Let's get rid of this here. And let's make it so that you play a nice pure, pure, but like it's a 5th. It's a diminished 5th, which is a tritone, but it's still a 5th instead of you playing the 6th here. Why is there a harpsichord? What do you mean, why is there harpsichord? There's a harpsichord because I want a harpsichord. So if we have diminished 5 here, diminished will lead nicely to a major chord. So I'm just going to arbitrarily, and I do mean arbitrarily, make you into a major 3 chord, which should be E major. Therefore, this moves up. And you guys move up. And y'all move up. Okay. And I'll sharpen you just to give the impression that we're in the key of A major. So therefore, that would mean C sharp, F sharp, and G sharp. I don't know. I'm so bad at thinking about that. There you go. I thought it to be a bit unorthodox. Allow me to introduce you to this to this genre of music. I'm not gonna say it. That feels a little strange. If I flattened you, I bet you would sound. I think it's because we started out with a... I guess I could put here that you translate it to a different mode. Let me see. This is the modal interchange chart, by the way. If I changed you out to be minor chords... Why is it so hard to create something in 6/8 or just any other signature other than 4/4? I don't know, I think it's pretty easy actually. Maybe you just need to listen to more waltzes, get a feel for it. If I flatten all you guys, C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C. Okay. I don't know if you could hear me tapping my desk as if I am literally using my muscle memory of the piano to determine where the sharps and flats are. I actually don't know them by heart. Every time I have to think of the key signature, I imagine myself playing the scale on the piano and then I see which notes are flattened or sharpened. Which probably isn't very efficient, but whatever. So if I make you guys minor... That's not correct. Who's messed up here? You're supposed to be E flat, you dum-dum. I think instead, source to me, I imagined the guitar scale. Why would you do that to yourself? I believe I remember you guys were... whatchamacallit? You were a bit lower. Yeah. I think another chord instead here would work if I replace you with a flat 7 chord. Therefore, you would be... Why am I blanking on this? B flat minor, right? I can put you over this D flat here if I make you a first inversion chord. And you guys would move down to F. That's correct. Okay. I just know minor and 1 string and that's it. I don't know any scales on the guitar. I can barely play. D flat, B flat, D flat, F, D flat, B flat, F, F, ooh. And then if we keep these, that should be D flat, E flat, D flat, E flat, and A flat, B flats. E flat, D flat, D flat again, E flat, la, 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 la. Guitar scales are easy, they're all the same shape starting from the different fret. I mean, that's true. It's a chromatic instrument, right? So A flat major is practically the same as C major. I wish piano was like that. You gotta practice that. That's why I tell you every stream, practice your scales, guys. You gotta practice your scales. It's not hard, okay? You just have to do 5 minutes every day. You don't even have to do. I remember for my piano diploma, I had to do 4 octaves at like some BPM, I forgot. But I had practicing scales. You can't tell me what to do. You're only as good of a classical musician as you practice your scales, okay? I don't think it's a controversial take. If you don't practice your scales, you're not going to be a good classical musician. That's just the way it is. So, can I skip the really hard ones? No! You cannot. You must learn on all 12 notes, or 11 notes, I guess, but all of them. Major and minor. And maybe you can do the harmonic and natural minor, and maybe even melodic minor if you're freaky like that. I don't want to be a metal EDM musician. Well, that works, yeah. EDM musician, but like the harmony is shifting constantly. I guess that's just jazz. Never mind. Hungarian minor too. I didn't have to learn any of those scales. People have to stop resisting scales when a sufficiently detailed knowledge of major and minor covers almost everything. I'll practice, just stop yelling at me. I'm only yelling at you because you didn't practice your scales, and I know you didn't practice your scales because you're complaining about it. I don't know if I told you I hate scales. No. I know the modes, but I always forget them. When I was a student learning like theory, I didn't write music. So, I mean, I did write music, but I didn't write like music using theory. So I didn't remember any of these dudes. I didn't remember what they meant. I didn't remember their order. I barely remembered their names. I memorized them for the test, and then I forgot about them completely. So, but once I started using them, I now know them, and I'm familiar with, how they work and what they sound like. Do you need to know their names? Absolutely not. In order to use them, just look at this chart. It'll tell you everything. What program you use to compose is MuseScore 4, MuseScore number 4. Go ahead and download it. Hold on, I got a Discord notification from somewhere. Oh, it's about musical telephone. No, whatever. I don't even know what that is. Telephone music? Isn't that like hold music? That sounds boring. I don't want to write hold music. Actually, that's a lie. I would love to write hold music. Okay. What was I doing? This is minor 2, right? No, that's flat 2. As a music student, hearing that broke my heart. What, the elevator music? What's wrong with elevator music? Bonk. And then... Oh, man. That means you're technically F flat, D flat, no, D flat, F natural, A flats. Okay, thanks, Harmony. Can you guys move it back up to F? A flat. Should really start composing with MuseScore Sibelius. I feel like Doc covers up my compositional skills with good sounding VSTs, and then I end up a worse composer. I mean, you gotta fake it till you make it, man. I'm not gonna blame you for choosing it just because it sounds better, alright? That ain't no fault of yours. Blame MuseScore for not having euphonium. That's what I'll do. Doesn't have a euphonium, so I'll make fun of it forever. I don't think... Wait. Yes, B flat is a part of that. E flat, A flat, no. D flat, C. Man, I don't have my MIDI keyboard hooked up. You know what, why am I complaining? I can just pull up Sorsando whenever I want. Okay, Yamaha Grand. Yippee. Just use the Berlin Brasses tuba for the UFO. I do too, actually. I use that exact same sound for that because it sounds pretty, well, it sounds pretty. What key are we in? See, look at the the no accidentals, that's what they're called. Every time I try to make something, I always steer to Bloodborne-esque music. That's awesome, actually. I mean, it doesn't have to be classical, right? Just create like 8 bars and I don't know what to do with it. Just repeat them. I mean, I feel like if anyone makes fun of you for making Bloodborne-like music, just tell them Bloodborne needs music, doesn't it? Okay? It's like what Solar Sands pointed out when people said that, what was his name? Oh my gosh, what was his name? I can only think of Peter Cullen, but that's not the right name. It was this painter guy. Kincaid, Thomas Kincaid. He got a criticism that was like, your paintings are just like greeting card looking illustrations, and he's like, well, greeting cards need illustrations, don't they? And it's like, your music doesn't sound classical, it sounds like video game music. Well, video games need music, don't they? It's just okay. It reminds me of a criticism, like a YouTube comment I saw that was on like a Richard Strauss piece of music. I was like, this sounds like way too Straussy, and it sounds too much like Strauss. And I'm like, you're saying your criticism of a Strauss piece is that it sounds too much like Strauss? What kind of a criticism is that? It doesn't mean anything. It's ridiculous. DAW versus notation software is apples and oranges in my experience. DAW renders arrangements in higher detail so you can end up acknowledging issues that might not otherwise be evident. That's true. I am too lazy to import. I mean, I do have a DAW. I did get FL Studio recently. So I could just like load up some plugins and get some plugins and like do it there, but like I don't really care that much. Like, why put in all the effort to make a fake one that sounds decently okay? I mean, I mean, this sounds good enough. Like, it's not perfect, but it's good enough for me. I ain't a perfectionist when it comes to this kind of thing. Oftentimes a DAW can hide things due to a bad mix. I once had an oboe play a D flat during a C major chord at the cadence I did not notice. Brother, I think you're gonna have to go through some ear training, alright? Alright, let me teach you, alright? What interval is this? Oh, it didn't play. I deleted Swordzando. What interval do you think this is? Oh, and MuseScore crashed. Okay, never mind. You know what? I think you're free of ear training today because the universe doesn't want you to do ear training. This is so sad. I can't believe MuseScore crashed on me. Unbelievable. It was a minor second. Oh, you're... How did you read my mind? Okay, you know, I'm getting impatient. I'm just gonna get to the orchestration. I'll do the harmony thing later. I'm getting a little too distracted. Okay. Okay, so this is my... That's what it is. This is my... And this is how I'm gonna write it. So I actually did open up this project yesterday. I didn't stream yesterday because I was so super sleepy. You have no idea how much Sailor Moon I watched. But anyway, what we're doing here is... I went back through here. I... redid some of the dynamics. I'm really particular about dynamics. So the dynamics are a bit more regular. They're a bit more... I don't really know how to explain it without like, going into detail. What was this piece about for? This piece is about... it's about pancakes. I want pancakes. And it's for me. I don't write for anyone. I don't take commissions. It's for me. Is anyone going to perform this? No. Do I have an orchestra to perform this piece? Absolutely not. Who do you think I am? It was just for me. I went through and it starts with a clarinet. It used to start with a horn. Instead it starts with a clarinet. I really wanted it to start on like a flute maybe, but of course the flute can't play these low notes. An alto flute can, I think, or a bass flute. I think a bass flute. I don't think an alto flute can play this low F. a bass flute can, but like the bass flute would basically only be used once in the whole piece. I know that's at the beginning, and then it's not used the rest of the entire piece, at least so far as I'm concerned. So I just kind of assigned it to this clarinet here. What is the most cursed chord? The most cursed chord, huh? This one. That's the most cursed chord. You can commission the Budapest Scoring Orchestra for something like $2,000. $2,000? You know how much chocolate milk I can get for that kind of money? That doesn't seem worth it at all. Like, how much is a bottle of chocolate milk? Like $2-3? How much? I can get 666. I can get an evil, a devilish amount of chocolate milk for that much. That's so much chocolate milk. And I think it'd be well worth it. I probably have drank 666 bottles of chocolate milk in my life. The absolute most sanitary instrument to demonstrate chord clusters, a contrabassoon. Hey, if Stravinsky can do it. That's kind of a lie. Stravinsky only wrote for 2 contrabassoons. Actually, I don't know. I don't know for sure. He might have written for like 3 or 4. It does seem like something he'd do. I remember this part in The Firebird where they're like contrabassoon chords playing, like sostenuto contrabassoon chords. That really, I mean, it has a certain, it's very evil sounding and it's very good, but I've never heard any other composer pull it off like he did. It kind of sounds like, I don't know if it sounds like it, you know, that in the Undertale soundtrack where it's like Flowey's theme but like super slowed down. I forgot what it's called. I think it's called like You're the Stupid Idiot or whatever. I don't know, something Flowey said. It's like a super slowed down version of a song. That's what the contrabassoon made me think of when I first heard the chords of that. It's like a song that's been stretched like way too much. Anyway, I mean, I'm sure you guys all know what this sounds like, but I'll play it for you and then we'll discuss what we're going to do next. And then also I'll also say when I re-listen to this, if I pick out anything I don't like, and then I'll fix it. Okay, so a couple of things I identified that I think are stupid and dumb. First of all, this flute is way too loud. You need to shut up. And does music score have a mark tree? It sure does. Let me prove it to you. Here, percussion, mark tree right here. They also have sleigh bells and sus cymbals, whistles, vibra, slap, cuica, china cymbal, agogos, and big kit. Don't ask me what big kit is, alright? You gotta ask the big kid himself. Okay, well, anyway. some problems here. First of all, I think this rhythm here needs to be fixed. I think having the melody have these quarter notes is not as good as if the melody had these triplet notes, and then like maybe the counter melody had these what do we call them? Straight notes. It's a big kit. It is a big kit. So you're if I just write in some triplets here quickly, and also don't mess up the dynamics. Let you move here. Okay, and if I make it so that you have the normal time, no. A flat, what's this? A flat, B flat, G flat, E flats. G flats. Slow down here. You can carry the triplet rhythm. Good. That feels a little bit better to my ears. Okay, let's just have some of y'all go here, the big ol' smiley faces. Beautiful. Okay. I think you guys need to chill out. And you go quiet. Okay. Good. Okay. Oh, also, during this part, I think the timpani were too loud. I'm gonna reduce their volume. Good. They're just supposed to basically help out this pizzicato stand out a little more. Does your score have drums, actually? Guys, did you seriously forget about Big Kit? Big Kit. See how big the kit is? They also have drum kit, I guess. But why would you use drum kit when you have big kits? They also have mixed percussion, gong, triangle, shaker. I do have the orchestral tools percussion too, which has some other ones like ship bell and pop tambourine and cuckoo whistle and body perk, which I think means thigh slaps. Do they have circle or square? I'm so sorry. Foghorn. I think they do have foghorn, actually. Okay. So one thing I think is wrong with this here is that it's not lighthearted enough. I think the flute here is a good choice. I think the flute needs to be higher. I think when the flute is down here, the only one hearing a harp on this, well, maybe you hear a harp because, I don't know, I wrote a harp part in. But you don't need to know that. That's spoilers. I think I need to raise you guys. I don't think I can raise you guys by an octave. Or never mind, I stand corrected. Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys need to chill out. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we need to think about what we're doing here. A harp would go hard. Oh yeah, guys, let me add a harp part in. Click, 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 click. Oh my gosh. Wow, isn't this a great harp part? Okay, let's see. So I kind of already have all these instruments doing stuff. I have two bassoons, one clarinet playing, and two oboes playing the what is it called? The harmony. And this clarinet is just kind of outlining this weirdo counter melody here. I'm thinking one flute playing this upper part here. Oh, what am I complaining about? I have 3 flutes. Okay, let's do this. So I'm going to have you play an octave lower. I'm going to copy this part. Why don't you go to pianissimo like the other ones? So yeah, we have one flute here playing these nice high, brilliant, light and airy notes, but I still want the harmony to come out, so I have these lower flutes playing the lower notes. Actually, you're playing higher than this dude, but whatever, that's fine. Your third flute. Okay, and just do this. It's been a while. How have you been? Sleepy. I'm so sleepy. I didn't have a coffee today. I mean, I don't need no coffee, but I ain't got no coffee today. Okay, so if I raise y'all to a slightly... don't raise the lower guys, just raise the upper guy to maybe a mezzo piano. Okay. Okay. Upper flute does not need to crescendo. Lower flutes can, that's fine. You don't crescendo as much. Neither do you, neither do you, neither do you, neither do you. Thanks to this brilliant invention called the glockenspiel. Contralto clarinets. Contralto clarinets. Contralto clarinets. Decrescendo here. You two, I guess. You need to decrescendo much more. Why are you guys? You guys are redundant. Let's get out of here. Okay. 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 Try again. Can I make the triangle a little more heard, please? Okay. I like this horn part. I just feel like the melody of these flutes, because it's dropping down an entire octave. I think it needs to do something a little... Is there a T saxophone in this? Unfortunately not. If you want T, you're gonna have to go to your doctor. Any new advancements in music theory, like new terms or anything? Yeah, I'll invent one right now. This right here, I call this the Shirgi cadence, 4 to flat 7. That's my cadence now. Can you decrescendo even more, actually, like... Or I could make it so that you don't play these notes. That would probably make more sense. Try this and add a half rest here. There you go. I don't like that. I want this nice horn part to fall directly on beat 1 of this measure. I don't want it to like be let in. That means I'm gonna have to play around a little bit with this. Because in fact you are flute 3, so you're not very loud. I guess I could just arbitrarily boost your volume though to match the other guys. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense though. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I thought you were strings. You're right. You ain't no strings. Maybe if you started a little quieter. That works. I could just boost the volume of this, I guess, but that feels... I don't like that. I don't like that solution. Clarinet would be louder, I guess. If I had you play this F or A here, you played this triplet, you followed what this guy was doing up in your cousin the flutes. Okay, that works, I guess. Okay. Flutes and clarinets are cousins. That's how I think of them. They're basically cousins. I mean, they don't have the same construction like the bassoons and oboes kind of do. They're both oboes and bassoons are double reeds. The clarinets and flutes, they have a similar timbre to each other, at least more similar than it does with the clarinet and the bassoon. I mean, it depends, but generally I think clarinets and flutes go well together. So they're cousins. I mean, they're all cousins, but bassoons and clarinets are like third cousins. They're all woodies though, so. Are the bassoons and oboes siblings? Maybe, but bassoon's definitely like the big sister. There you go, P. Okay. Try again. Let's hear from this. Good. Good. That's a bit smoother. I think this pizzicato isn't nearly heard enough. It's getting overshadowed by all the other dudes, so you boost the bits. Now I can hear the pizzicato. I was just afraid it would be too loud, but crescendo. Okay, I'm afraid of stuff getting a little bit too loud here. I think some of you guys are going to have to quiet down. Let's not have the oboes raise their volume. Let's just have the strings lower their volume. So that the trumpets can take over, right? You guys can become piano, maybe. I'm not sure if I'll be able to hear you though, but maybe. Okay, that works. Let's have one trumpet instead of two. One lone trumpet, I think sounds a bit nicer. Cymbals maybe? I'm saving the cymbals, but I will use cymbals. I do have cymbals here. After this part will be something else, but for now I want to make sure I get this right first. Okay, so what else? These flutes here are just kind of reinforcing these upper notes. I'm not sure if I really need them. Also, I think I've said this before, but I keep forgetting to put the slur markings in. I'm just gonna go back before I forget and just add in a bunch of slur markings. Especially on these melodies. Okay. I think I need to add one here. I guess, nah, I'll just say legato. That's easier. B in first voice, please. Do I need to mark legato in italics? How do they do it here? They do it just normal, okay. Legato. And you too, legato. Okay, awesome. You don't necessarily need to play super legato, you're just you. Same with you. Y'all play legato. Do I need to add similar markings around? I could put like leggero, but I feel like you kind of already know that just by having this here. I've never seen this channel before. Wow, it's crazy. I've never seen you before either. Funny how that works. I think the timpani is not heard enough. I could put emphasis on each of these first beats. Like this. Okay, that's hardly an accent. Hello. I could have you play forte. It starts to sound kind of like a march or something when I have that. I'm not sure if I like that very much. In the sound flags, I can specify that I want different kinds of mallets. I could have baroque mallets, which sound like this. They sound so tinny. I love it. I was doing Wallace and Gromit theme. You know, I could not have asked for a higher compliment. Let's try hard mallets. Any advice for someone trying to learn music theory? I would advise you first to go to your library and look for books there. Trying to find stuff online is fine, but of course everyone will have a differing opinion, so it's nice to go to a library and get just one single person's opinion on it so it ain't too confusing, and then you can build off of that. If I were to start someone for music theory specifically for composing, I would start them first on knowing what the scales are and knowing what each of the chords of the scale are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and knowing how they work in relation to each other. And once you know that, everything else is just kind of an add-on to that. Once you know all of the chords and how they relate to each other, all of the composing specifically theory that comes after that is based just on that idea. Now, of course, if you look to some more modern music, so, you know, post-1900 music, it gets a little different. That I can't really say there's a theory or a technique for it if you want to write like that. And plus, the people that wrote that music didn't really write a whole lot about their own music or their thought process, so that's just kind of lost. You're just gonna have to study the scores of that. Like, if you want to write like Bartok, then I'm sure there are tons of resources on that. Personally, I don't really know. I'm sure he had his own theory, but YouTube recommended this for song composing, and I really learned much theory apart from scales and chords. Scales and chords, in my opinion, are, well, not even in my opinion, they are just the basis of what I would call conventional music. I think that's a fair term to use. Conventional music is all about chords, so, you know, everything from Sinatra to Mozart uses this, well, not everything, but like that kind of like stuff that you will hear on the radio will be based on this idea of chords and scales. Everything else isn't that's not played on the radio and you can only hear on YouTube or in concert halls. I ain't sure how to write for that. How do you find a new motif? Okay, how do I find a new motif? Usually I start with a melody, and not like a whole melody, just like a snippet of a melody. And how do I find those new melodies? Sometimes I'll just dot around random notes in MuseScore. I can't really say that there is a technique that I use to create a melody, unfortunately. You can start by taking a melody or a snippet of a melody from an existing piece, just like one measure, and then building off of that. Just start writing something else. It's like when you write down a sentence, or you get like a sentence prompt and you try to write a short story out of it. It's kind of like that. Just take one to two measures of something that you like, and then just keep writing off of that. And eventually it'll become something original, and you can just get rid of the old stuff. That works as a good warm-up, and if you do that a lot, then you'll have like a bunch of backup projects from which you can pull motifs if you need them. Chords specifically, I do have a technique for writing chords, but that's a little different. It's less intuition based than melody. I definitely use more theory for that kind of stuff. Okay, anyway, okay, I understand that you're an accented note, but you're still supposed to be playing piano. That's so loud. Just mess around until it's not dissonant most of the time. And why would you do that? Dissonance is so awesome. I mean, I say that, and I'm currently writing the most tonal thing you ever heard in your life, but just do as I say, not as I do, okay? You guys play. Why is the space between you so big? Why is there so much space here? Come down. Get off your high horse. Thank you. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Right, I wanted to hear these timpani more. That was my whole goal of this. I'm just worried that it'll come in too strongly. Something's clashing here. What is clashing? Something feels like it's clashing. C, F, and A. It shouldn't be clashing. Maybe it's just because the timpani is so low. How about you start on the second beat instead of the second, or start on the third beat instead of the second beat? I preferred it the other way. I'll just have you play quieter, and I think it's probably because I got rid of the pizzicato here. I'll boost your volume because the harp ain't going to be heard over all those brackets. Oh my gosh! All right, you gotta shut up. You can just be a little bit louder. A little louder. Comically loud harp. You guys want to hear a comically loud harp? Oh man, what a... I don't think the harp can even play that loud. All the harp parts I've written, by the way, are in pianissimo. Look at that. Pianissimo, pianissimo, pianissimo. Just here, it's piano. In the next part, which by the way, if you guys are seeing me for the first time, this is a piece that I wrote a few months ago, and I am reorchestrating it because I don't like the first time I did it. So my criticism of myself of the first time I did it is that it sounded too heavy. So this time I want it to be more smooth and more nostalgic, I guess. I don't really know how to describe it other than that. More nostalgic. Less grandiose, less... cinematic isn't really the right word. Anyway, yeah, the point is that this is supposed to be a bit... How many instruments are in the score? Less than we were here. Here there is a cartoonish amount of instruments in the score, but here it is... Okay, it is less, but it doesn't look like less when I when I look at that. So this is just strings. This is standard. Any orchestra will have this many strings, except if you look at like old Mozart stuff, he only had 4. But anyone after Beethoven, and Beethoven himself, had 5. Harp, triangle, cymbals, these all could be these dudes could probably be combined into maybe 1 or 2 percussionists, but anyway. We have a timpanist. So barring all those wins, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, I know that I found the face reveal. Oh, my very real face reveal that I made like a year ago. That's definitely very real and so real. I know 20 instruments sounds like a lot, plus all these dudes, but it really isn't. Because it's just instruments, but they're in twins or triplets. So these are 3 bassoons, 2 clarinets, 2 oboes, 3 flutes. It's not that complicated. Like a chord, like one chord has 3 notes, right? Or one triad has 3 notes. So you already need 3 instruments for that. And then if you want to add more notes, 4 instruments, 5, 6. So it's when you just start stacking chords on top of each other, it's kind of easy to see why you have so many instruments. Makes it sound easy to make a lot of things clash. It is very easy to make a lot of things clash, and that's something again I think is wrong with the original time I wrote this. Was that this is the first piece I wrote for orchestra, and it has like 3,000 instruments in it, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So it sounds like a bit of a jumbly mess. Let me see if I can find the part that... Okay, this part. You can barely hear the harmony. It just sounds kind of wishy-washy. It sounds a little hollow compared to the way I wrote it the next time. Let me just continue playing it. This part is fine because it's filled in by the violins, right? but I rewrote it here to sound a bit more dense. Add a single triangle note. Oh brother, I already got a triangle. Here it sounds much more grand, a bit more mature, I think. Oh, uh-oh, you guys ready for the big harp notes? Dong. But hello? What happened to the quintuple forte? Is this how loud the comically loud harp is? Man, what a shy instrument. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, let me fix my posture, by the way. I don't know when my knees came up to my chest. They just do that sometimes. Anyway. I'm gonna make sure I like this first before I continue. But after this will be, in my opinion, is going to be the trickiest part. The thing I struggled with orchestrating the most are these few measures here. Like from the part that I'm bracketing right now. I'll get to that later, that's what's coming up next. You can see I preemptively put in the weird key signatures. Okay, so if you want to ask me about how I modulated here, I'll tell you, but for now, let's also ignore the ledger lines, alright? It's fine. This is in concert pitch, the horn plays a fifth above it's written, or fifth below it's written, so the ledger lines do go up. It's fine. So what do I think is wrong here? Let me re-listen to it again. I think the horns are adding a little bit too much middle. I prefer it without the horn playing the melody. What do you guys think? Horn or no horn? I mean, I guess I could just make them play quieter or have less horns play. I could have less horns play, so 2 horns instead of 4. Almost a counter melody, quarter notes. Do I have a counter melody? I should. The original had a counter melody, I believe. I don't remember if I wrote that in here. I don't think I did. In favor of like a purer sound, I didn't have a counter melody. But there is a counter melody here, but you can't hear it because it's buried under everything. You'll notice here in this part there's a bassoon counter melody. Let me solo the bassoon and the cello so you can actually hear it. Oh my gosh, you're so quiet. I cannot hear you. Yeah. So yeah, there used to be a counter melody here. I really like having counter melody, but I think I sacrificed it here to have... I think here might be good though. I think I actually did write one here. I think it's this, in the bass clarinet. Let me just copy paste this from the original. Let's put you in... What instrument is free? I did kind of take up all of them. There's too much trumpet happening there. Give it back to you, Mr. Clarinet. you can't really hear it, and it's kind of like taking up a bunch of space that I don't think needs to be taken up. Add timpani, arco double bass joining notes. Okay. I did actually try the droning note thing. That's what this is. There's a bit too much reverb in this, I think. I intentionally made this a bit more sparse. There is timpani playing. She's playing right here. I guess you can't hear it. That is something I complained about. Hopefully you can hear that. There's something off with your music? Well, what is it? I would like you to tell me what's off because I'm not sure. Too cadency, I think. That's fair. The part before this is very more loose with the chords, and this part here is a little bit more free with their chords. Especially during this part, I have some drawn out authenticators with a sixth in there, and that's throwing it off. Okay. I did mess with some weird harmony over here, and it's not evil, my ears say otherwise. The chords here were a bit more interesting, right? But here, they're a bit more straightforward, right? Could make the chords a bit more interesting. I do have this very tasty diminished sixth chord here though, which I like. I think here probably needs to change. I'm changing my mind yet again. You start on the second beat instead of the third beat instead of seconds. I say second because you're halfway through the measure, but that's not how that works. But I'm not quite sure where I would add. Where would I alter the harmony to make it more interesting? Nothing here really screams out to me like it's wrong. How do you even name your pieces? I just do keyboard smashes? I don't know. You guys want to see my project file names? This one's called Foggy. This one's called Hoagie. This one's called Horns. This one's called Iced Cafe Latte. Stompers. This one's called 12. Do I have any other weird ones? Corn Concerts. RV. I just have a faith. I just name it whatever. I don't have very interesting names of stuff. I have telephone spoilers. It makes me feel nostalgic. That's what I thought when I wrote it too, which is why it's called Homesick. I got one I can't put down. Dang. It's called Kegels. What a name. But yeah, all these are my. I have even more on my laptop that are even more insane. It's like my spam. This is like my more organized one on my PC, but on my laptop they're even worse. You always construct the chords by conventional algorithmic ways or by the emotion which the chords produce. Both. There is an algorithm. I won't deny that I do use some kind of what you could call an algorithm to write my chords. It's just that what determines which chords I put down is of course determined by the emotion. So my thought process here was that the beginning was very loose, very airy. There are a lot of extended chords here. There are some quartet chords here, a lot of dissonance in the chords. Here the chords are a lot more straightforward because I wanted a nice, as I marked here, grandioso sound. Something a bit more... what's the word? Something a bit more royal sounding, which is why the chords are a bit more straightforward. I agree that the chords can be more interesting, and they should be more interesting. At least in this part here, they're not as interesting. In this part, they were more interesting. I have one that's literally called just B, and it's for concert band. I see. B for practice your scales. So what chords should I put here? I don't think this 6 diminished chord exists, and never mind, I stand corrected, that's a Dorian chord. Okay, well... okay. I think we should keep this 1 here. Something here I think needs to be changed. I could diminish you... no. What else is here? Let's look at our options here. So the key that I'm in, F major, here, the 2 chord is minor. In Phrygian, it's flattened and major. In Aeolian, it's diminished. And in Lydian, it is major. Thanks, Lydian. Let's try Lydian. I like Lydian. Lydian's a nice, sunny chord. So let's try that. If I edit this chord so that it is a G major chord, you are G major, correct? Yes, you are. Which means we would be naturalizing this flat over here. So... I'm not sure if this is gonna work, but I think it's worth a shot, I guess. And then... if I also set you to be your Lydian equivalent, which I believe is this, that would mean... were you on inversion before? I don't think so. No, you weren't. That's not 4. I mean, because you're B diminished, which should still be subdominant. So y'all get moved up. And Lydian does have indeed the 6 chord here. This 3 chord it does have, and this 4 chord it doesn't have, but I think that's fine. Someone was playing a wrong note here. Is it because of this A? I think it might have been this timpani. Something went too high. Do you switch modes in the middle of the music, or does it say constant? Sorry for the constant inquiries. Usually I just borrow chords from other modes. I did write a piece recently that ignore that it's called Thunderdome. I did write a piece recently that does switch between modes, which is this one here, which you can find on my page called Karage Ramen. And I made notes here of which modes are being used. You can listen to it on your own. But yeah, I did write one, exactly one, where I did that. But otherwise, yeah, I usually just stick to one, major or minor, which is I guess two. And yeah, something did sound a bit weird here. I think it was you though. I think you should just play this G. Who played the wrong note? Which one of you is it? You! You play, you're supposed to play a B natural. You unbelievable dum-dums. Okay, all you guys are correct. And climax is going too high. Yeah. Let me just undo all my changes here. Okay. Maybe I just need to add some more extended chords, maybe some more what are they called? Like vague chords, I would call them. What were those chords called? What were the chords called? What were they called? Quartic? Not quartic, that's math. Quadratic, that's also math. Is it quartic? Are they quartic? Quartic chord. It's quartal chord. Quartic is different. This is a quartic. There you go. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you, fundamental theorem algebra. But no, quartal is what we want. Very quadratic. The quadratic formula. That's actually a banger name for for a piece. If any of you can write us something called the quadratic formula, that'd be so awesome. It needs a bit more bass. How much more bass could you want? I have a tuba, a contrabassoon, and a contrabass. All the contras, they're all working together. I mean, I guess they are playing soft, but I hate polynomial graphs. Get that out. What's wrong with graphs? I like graphs. The lines go, they're all wiggly. They're so wiggly. Don't tell me you dislike the wiggles. I love the wiggles. Why is it that these notes specifically do not have anything being played in the second horn, or third and fourth horns? There you go. Okay. Chord time. Okay, so let's think. Where do I want the chords to be a bit less defined? Okay, I think this is fine. Just here. Maybe somewhere here and here I could make it a bit nicer. Like these chords on the fourth beat could be a bit more vague, maybe. And especially this sixth chord here. I think there's a lot of sixth chord happening here, right? So you can see here in this one progression we have 6, 6, 6, and 6. I think the sixes are fine. Maybe they just need to be a bit more modified so that it doesn't sound too repetitive. Maybe it just sounds too repetitive because it's too much of the same chord happening at once. I can see that. So let's try something else here. If I built a chord, what is this, D minor, a D minor chord. So I could make it D, G, C, F, B flat, what's after that? B flat, E, and then A. And then I could rearrange that. I could, okay, let me write it out first. So notice that by the way, the strings, the cellos, the contrabasses, and the brass, they're all playing the same note. The harmony is all coming from U here, which are the wood ones. It's a very pure D minor chord. If I rearrange you so that you're like, you play. It's a very pretty chord. I think there's a note here that feels out of place, but I'm not sure what it is. It's you. You play... See, it's melancholic, isn't it? It does seem a little bit dreamy. The thing is, the melody itself is so assertive that it almost feels like the chords need to be assertive too. So I don't think I can really get away with having so many dissonances happening between each other in these chords. Instead, I'm just going to have to modify like the DNA of the chord itself. So let me revert you back to what you were, which I believe is just a simple D minor chord here. So if I change you to be one of these dudes, I already stole from Dorian. Who do I want to steal from this time? Let's steal from you, Locrian. If I change this chord to be a flat 6 major chord, that would be... but the melody itself is having this A natural here. So if I made you an augmented chord, you would still technically work. That's not the symbol for augmented, that is. So that, therefore you should be B flat. B flat, F, A natural, or F natural, A natural. This is gonna sound so stupid. You guys ready? That's incorrect. Never mind, it is correct. That sounds so stupid. I don't know about that, buddy pal. I think I'm just gonna have to start diminishing some chords instead of trying to reinvent the wheel here. A minor. Move you guys down a peg. You're too noisy. Just go back to piano. You know, I'll think about the chords later. What I'm really concerned about is this next part here, which is the quadruple melody that happens, and it's just going to sound like a bunch of noise, but I'm going to let you guys hear how I did it before, and then I'll figure out how to do it after. Okay. So basically what's happening here is that this is like an echo, a canon basically. We have this melody here. And I believe after that it is trumpets that play this. And then it is cellos that play this. And then trombone. And they all play the same melody. So it's a lot of clashing. That's my problem with this. I really like this 4 melody thing that's happening. I just don't think I wrote it very well the first time I got around to doing this. So that's what I aim to fix. Also, the second flute and the oboes are literally doing nothing. The melody instruments are not playing any melody. Wouldn't you know it? If I were Eli, and just... There's too much tension in that chord. What is that chord? Okay, one of the main problems I think here is that there are some instruments outlining the chords here, which I think is just ridiculous. Instead, it should just be bass notes, melody. That's it. Also, you're playing such high notes, I might as well just give you to the piccolo, but I'm not going to. Here, let's just have y'all play it together. Okay, hold on. Let's have strings. I want the flutes to play the principal melody because then the principal melody will be the most easily heard, right? Try again. With lower. I like that a bit better. Second violin's an octave under. Now let's think about what instruments would go in the next part, which is this melody here in Mr. Trumpet. Get over here. Copy. So who wants to go next? Horn, but like... Or maybe clarinet, actually. It needs to be an instrument that's a bit weaker than a horn. And then after this, it is cello together, right? Could have you guys, both of you. And then you play. Try something like this, I guess? I'm not sure. Something felt a bit off in the middle there. It's something to do with you, cellos, I think. What chord is this? This is a 6. This is the key of D major. Therefore, you should be a B minor chord. Which is probably why you sound off. Much better. F sharp. C here is fine, you move to D. And then you are C, so you also move to D. there's no brass except the horn playing, and I did that kind of on purpose because I was afraid that having brass play these parts might make they might stand out way too much. I could try having Mr. Euphonium. If I have every instrument group play a melody. If I have flutes and violins for the first part, maybe clarinets and oboes for the second parts. Clarinets and oboes for the second part, cello and euphonium, maybe euphonium and tuba, euphonium and tuba for the third part, and just horns for the fourth parts. This might sound a bit too noisy though. Yeah, I can't really hear the principal melody no more. I guess I could just reduce you. Remove clarinet, try oboe instead. Okay, unsurprisingly, the tuba and euphonium are way too loud. It's because you're not supported in an octave like the other dudes are, which is why you seem so quiet. Okay, so I'm just going to lower the volume of y'all. Let me remove chord symbol from the selection here. Get rid of that for a sec. Clarinets. Everyone except the main melody play mezzo forte. High clarinet and oboe. Like something like this. I was thinking maybe having the oboe or the clarinet reinforce the melody here. I just was a little afraid that would be too many instruments on one thing and it would sound too what's the word? Too gray. I don't know. I don't know. This string melody needs to be heard over everyone else. I think I'll actually put you up here. I think having first and second violins play this part will make it easier here. I don't like the oboe here. Okay. So if we look at the original score that I wrote here, the bass notes being played by this tuba. They're kind of quiet. It's the timpani that kind of belts out the lower notes, which I think will be fine. let me just copy this just so we have like a template to work with. Maybe not that loud. And of course, cymbals will play here. Louder. Good. Bass drum too. Big loud bass drum. Okay, the bass drum shouldn't be that loud actually. Okay. So the melodies are going to be sustaining the like the space between the notes for the most part. Just for starters, let's put you here. See, when there's a bunch of melodies happening at once, the harmony kind of fills in itself, which is why I kind of wanted to remove the chordal part of this and just let the melodies outline the harmony for us when all of them are playing at once. Not only does it sound much cleaner, but it just sounds nicer, right? Sorry if you couldn't hear me. It just sounds a bit cleaner and a bit nicer if we have it like this instead. So let me write down the right now it's the woodwinds that are playing the harmonies. If I have you guys are all playing piano, you guys are all playing piano. I could have it so that the oboes aren't doing much. If I have bassoon, maybe bassoon, trumpet, tuba, euphonium, contrabassoon, they all play the bass notes. Maybe the trombones in the middle could fill in the harmonies. I'm not sure what the oboes would do. Maybe they'd also just play the bass notes. I mean, they wouldn't play the bass, they'd play the, not the root notes, they'd play the low notes, but high up. The high low notes, the low high notes. Okay. I just sat crisscross applesauce in my chair for this. That's how you know it's getting real. So I'm going to write in these beautiful notes here. F. That's seriously F? Did I really write that in? I sure did. That's kind of lame. I'll just follow what the timpani are doing. For funsies, oopsies, if I have you play, you guys go and knock this down. So you guys are all just kind of playing like this. Maybe I don't want you guys to play forte because I'm afraid of this, but here I go venturing into the deep. That doesn't sound good at all. Alright, just bring it back here. I'll let Mr. Contrabassoon decide. What a beautiful B flat. I guess no, don't have the bass note play for too long. It'll sound a bit too murky if I do that. Instead, the harmony itself can play a little longer. You monster. Down. I'll have you play some harmony. The tuba was really special. My headphones for one note and scared me. That's so awesome. You guys, shut up. Alright, you guys are following the bass. You move up. You also play slightly longer, please. 2. Oh, that chord is... What key are we in? F. That should be a G minor over a B flat chord, which means B flat, D, G. Which means you move up, my friend, a second. Contrabassoon, you do contrabassoon things. I don't know, man. He's like Terrence from Angry Birds. You don't want to mess with him. He's scary. And the contrabassoon is just Terrence from Angry Birds, now that I mention it. There's some stuff missing in the middle here. I guess that's what the you guys are for. I'll have maybe horns play a little bit, but they're gonna go away quickly to play some melodies. So just a little bit of intermediate chords. If I write here, and I'll write them a little open, I think. If I write here, like, just have first and third horn play that. Piano, please. That's quite loud. Quieter. Play this. Good. B flats. B flats. Shorter. Longer. Longer is a little better. G minor. Five here, C. C. You play C. Just move back down to this wonderful chord here. Here. Whoopsies. move you guys all to these guys here and just implode you guys. There you go. That works. Have you play mezzo forte. Horn is weirdly loud. I guess it's the only brass instrument playing throughout these melodies, or the only brass instrument that is playing a melody here. So I guess it makes sense that it's loud. You are not. I don't want it to become a screaming contest between the instruments, but that's what it feels like it's becoming. Where my mixes become screaming contests. That happens to me a lot, where it just becomes a screaming contest of instruments. And it really shouldn't be. Instead, it should obviously sound more like a homogeneous mix of instruments. It might be that the timpani's too loud, I don't know. Let me reduce the screams for a sec here. Let me silence the screams inside of my mind and replace them with mezzo fortes. So now they're using their inside voice. It's definitely that the timpani's too loud. You can increase in volume. Maybe instead of horn, you need to be on trombone. This. Try euphonium instead. You are just one euphonium. Euphonium, tuba. No, not tuba. Tuba ain't got it. I guess horn it is. Maybe just one horn is enough. We have like 3 flutes, like 60 players on these stringies that are playing the melody. And then we have 2 clarinets, and then these guys all playing the strings, and maybe we'll just have 1 horn. That might help. Somehow this doesn't feel loud enough still, so unfortunately it's going to become a screaming contest again, but just between the flutes and the clarinets, which both of them are screamy instruments anyway. The clarinet especially. The clarinet sounds like it screams. Try clarinet and trumpet together, but like trumpet chilling out. Also horn chilling outs. Okay, I like that a little bit better. Have another clarinet play just so I can hear these higher notes. The problem here is that when the melody kind of punches back into the violins, it's not easy to hear very well until the trumpets go away. But I think that's fine, actually. Okay, hold on. Let me decrease the volume. I think hearing it a bit too loud might be mucking up some stuff. I think making it quiet will be easier for me to discern what I think is wrong. I think it's actually okay. I'm okay with that for now. You're A major over C sharp. I could write a low C sharp here if I wanted. That sounds so stupid. I'm not gonna do that. As much as I want to, and trust me, I find every reason to write in the lowest controversy notes possible, but I don't think, unfortunately, sports fans, it's gonna work out this time. I'm gonna have your C major. Play this. C to, what was it? A major. And then beautiful D major here. Lots of this happening. Maybe down an octave, I think those would be easier to play. D, 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 D. You're D major, I believe, so you do like this. D major. Oh crap. F sharp over C. So you move down. Right? That's what I wrote in the original, right? Or is it here at this modulation? That is what I wrote. Okay. You got it. Me from the past. Now I'm redoing all your mistakes. Idiots. Now you gotta be B minor. Right? Yes, B minor. I don't know why I keep doubting myself on that because I know it's in fact true. And just B natural. That's not B. 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 B natural, D sharp, F sharp. That works. F sharp, B minor here. B minor. And then a major here. No, E major. B down to E, which is fascinating, I think, because that's weird. Could have this low note here. I think I'll have the low note, and then I'll move it an octave up, and then it'll like... It'll be kind of deep, but it needs to like gradually, not gradually, but not suddenly. It doesn't need to suddenly move. You know what, whatever. I'll just write it in first. We'll see what I think. Because I'm thinking I don't want a sudden transition to the quieter parts, but maybe I do want it and I just don't know that I do yet. Okay. Just like move up by a fifth and stuff. Same with you. Same with you. You just repeat these notes. And then finally down to beautiful A major. Okay, now this is completed, in quotes. I'm not sure if I would call it completed yet. Let's at least listen to it first. Okay. What's happening in the melodies is definitely more clear. I just think some things are a little too quiet. I might have to diminish the volume of some of the harmony bits. Replace these oboe bits with you playing with the clarinets. A bit quieter, please. Try again. Actually, let's have that retardando here. let's have my glockenspiel friend outline what's happening here. You're a little too loud now. Despite you being a glockenspiel, I can hear you over the entire darn orchestra. And now I can't hear you at all. Thanks, MuseScore. If I have you... No, this is fine. What happened there? Well, they didn't come in on time. Okay. Can you be more dramatic of a change, please? Like, really dramatic. Like, you're like slowing the heck down. And then you need to be like adagio. Okay. I'll call you molto ritardando. So now we have a small one. Now we have a big one. We have andantino. We have andante. And now we have adagio. What kind of adagio do I want to have here? I had a descriptor for all the other ones. Fatuoso, grandioso, adagio, adagio, golagio. I don't know. Adagi. The word might come to me. What did I mark it in the old one? In the old one I marked it largo. Okay. That's not very helpful. I'll just call you adagio. No, I ain't got nothing. It'll come to me later. Okay, time to fix the orchestration of this. So I think I've succeeded at least in one of my goals, which is to make the instrumentation feel more clear. You're able, not the instrumentation, well, both that and also being able to hear the melody over everything. That was pretty important to me. I think I am at least better able to hear the melodies than I was when I did it last time. So let's go back here to this part. Also, don't play for 3 whole beats. I think it needs more dynamics. Dynamics here are fine because you like crescendo and stuff. Well, not really, but like you're basically crescendoing. Okay, so right here, the general dynamic of the music goes up, right, because of this timpani hit. Part of me also feels like it needs to go down. Lighten up here. Or... I guess I kind of did that with this. Okay, well anyway, what I'm mostly concerned about is having dynamics in this part here with the cellos. Have like some dynamics going on here. I guess similarly in the horns maybe. Nah, cellos only, or cellos and violas only, sorry, violas. Another crescendo here. Try this. Closer. It's not quite there to what I want. I think maybe this contribution is just a little bit too quiet. Okay. You guys a little quieter, please. Needs to be mostly string here. What if I lowered you down an octave again? Might help establish the strings a little boomier. That's definitely better. Make sure you can hear the second melody here. I'm trying to make sure that I can hear all of these melodies together. I'm a little worried that because I'm raising the volume of all of them, they'll start overlapping each other, but like not in a good way where you can easily distinguish all of them. And because this is like a forte part, and it's meant to be a forte part, I'm a little worried that they're a little different. It's like I was worried that the cellos would be buried under the strings. I mean, cello projects fine on its own, of course, but that's why I gotta make sure the strings are a good distance away from each other. So these violins here are a good distance away from these cellos. Actually over here they intersect a little bit. They play the same notes, but oh well. Why two people with a number 1 tag, bro? I don't know. I ain't YouTube. I just stream on it. I don't know how YouTube decides who the number 1 is. I've never seen that. I'm adding a piano. I don't know why. I had a piano and then I got rid of it like an idiot. Why would I ever get rid of the piano? Piano is basically the heart of the orchestra. That's a lie, the organ is. Let's get my nice pianos on fonts. It's still loud, so I'm gonna have to dampen it. In the original, there was a chime part. The chime part makes it feel a bit too... for lack of a better word, it makes it feel a bit too Tchaikovsky. So I'm gonna get rid of the during this this part here. Let's try this on piano. Good try on harp. This is even the right chord. You're A major chord. Wait, yeah, A major. The chiming sound needs to come out a beat or two later. Here's what it sounded like in the original, if you're curious. Hear the chimes. After this, the chimes don't really get a part for, I don't know, the entire piece. Feels like I'm just kind of feature creeping them in, so I'm thinking maybe I should put them on another instrument, therefore it would sound a bit more contained, right? That's why I'm thinking, what chord is this? F sharp major, or minor. High melodic glassy chiming. Oh, this dude. I know what you mean. Let's put you on piano for now. Oh my gosh. And also, shut up. Don't shut up. Okay. I could also have you boost the melody. Maybe, ooh, I kind of want to add more piano parts now, but where would the piano even fit here? Probably somewhere around here. And this small part here. I think a piano would fit in nicely here. Let me start by putting the melody here. Octave lower. Don't play forte. Okay, you can just do mezzo forte. That's a little cheesy, but that's okay. Shrink back down to piano, how I get it. I think I'm gonna have you in the left hand play some nice, pretty chords. Do like this. Here, what chord are you playing here? F, B flat, E flat, B flat, D flats. I don't even know if this chord has a name. F, B flat, D flats, E flats. F, B flat, D flat, E flat. That seems to be, what chord did I originally mark this as? Flat 7 in the key of, what is that? C major. So yeah, it's supposed to be a B flat major chord, but I screwed it up. Sure. Okay, I'll write that in, I guess. Hello, piano. It should be... beautiful. That doesn't sound right. What did I do wrong? F, B flat, E flat. Oh, D natural. I have D natural up here. Arpeggio. You, my friend at the bottom, please play piano. Louder. Higher. I like it lower. Maybe like this? No. This chord here, what is this? E, B flat. Another half diminished chord. Right, yeah. E. Okay, yeah, you're half diminished, not just diminished. Half diminished. Which means E flat. Wait. No, E natural. So these guys literally just moved up is the result of that. Don't play that G because you're already being reinforced by this dude. You should be A minor over C. Unless it's not what you're playing, but I believe that is. You have this G here, but that's about all. Making you a 7th chord. Technically. Listen to that beautiful chord. Looks like that stays the same for a bit. And then A major. Increase the spread delay. This E has been sounding in the whole chord. Who are you clashing with? You're clashing with someone. This C here. I can hear a clash. Ah, it's you, B. I just wanted to make it too needlessly complicated. Something like this should be good. Okay. I could also have it play some arpeggios or something, or tremolos instead, which might be nicer. Instead of just boring old arpeggios. Instead, have you play some rhythm, maybe. So establish that you're a B flat chord. You're an E minor chord. Put D here. And minor chord. Sharp. And then D major. And then G minor. I see, you're applying your dynamics to both voices. Do this, please. I guess to be more specific, I can do this. That's a little messy. Let's just keep it like this. Try again. I feel like some chords here would go nice. Especially with this harp. Or maybe just have the harp play these. Clefs, thank you. Bass clef. Just have you play some nice easy tones here. Don't have that bass note. I guess I don't need bass clef for that. This is probably easier. At least it's easier for me to read. And of course, all pianists are like me, so. Don't have arpeggios. I actually don't like that. Maybe like just like one note would work. That works. Just like play some bass notes and you're happy. Wink. There you go. Maybe both of y'all. I see. Don't have that. Get rid of that. What do you sound like together? Octave higher. I like that actually. I like that a lot. Let's keep that. You guys quiet though. Good. Timony part here. Okay, something really falls off here. I think it's because of you. You together. I could have multiple octaves playing in both hands. Not get out of here. How's the composition going? I'm sleepy. That's how it's going. Maybe I'll take a nap. We gotta finish this part first. I'm gonna make this quiet because it's hurting my ears. I'm also over here. I didn't make this. How's the bomb position going? No, it's going alright. Maybe more dynamic stuff happening here. Try this. Doesn't really sound like much is changing. Add viola. Oh my goodness. If you're going crescendo, you better act like it, right? Not sforzando. Fortissimo, please. Okay, that doesn't sound like much of a change. If I switch you guys from like mezzo piano, I would be more dramatic. So dramatic I can't even hear it. I keep it the way it was. I hope this track keeps haunting you when you go to sleep. It already does. And it has been for the past few months. I don't like the glockenspiel here. I don't like it. Working on this for months. I mean, there was a month gap. When I first wrote it here in this part, this took like a month. Then I like sat and thought about it and didn't do anything for it for a couple months, and now I'm back doing it again because I didn't like it the first time I did it. So it has been months, but like I haven't been doing anything in those months. It's just been bothering me for months. Especially since I started reading and studying more orchestra scores, just like realizing what I could have easily done better. It's been bothering me. Try this. No, that's right. You know, there are other percussion instruments I can use, like xylophone. Get over here, xylophone. How long have you been composing music? How long? 2 years now? Like classical music? 2 years. Yeah. Where's that xylophone? There you are. Xylophone. Too much reverb. Louder. actually really like the xylophone. I just don't never have an excuse to use it. I know Shostakovich really liked the xylophone, which is really funny. It's just so plinky and awesome. Usually assume music composers dedicate their whole life to the past. I mean, I guess. I'm not sure if I'll do this for the next few years. This is just my hobby right now. I might change it to like, I don't know, what's the next what's my next hobby gonna be? Crayons, axe throwing, shooting cannons. Those are all equally likely to be my next hobby probably. Just based on me. Maybe Uno. I can get into Uno. Professional Uno. Okay, I don't think xylophone was the right choice here. Waiting for the Minecraft mod reviews. Oh, actually, you're so right. I need to get on doing those. It's very pertinent that I get Minecraft mod reviews done. Would you rather sacrifice the identity of an instrument or rather keep all instruments clear and hearable? My problem with this is that I sacrifice identity and it just sounds like a huge mess. Here I'm trying to make the instruments feel a bit more personal by just having less of them play. I mean, not necessarily having less of them play. They are all playing, but they give each other space, is the thing. They don't block out as many chords as they used to. They give each other some space. Which is why somehow it simultaneously sounds like less is happening, but also more is happening. Because you can actually hear the melody now, but like less is technically happening. I think I'll keep xylophone for now because I just do. It needs to be a little louder though, because I can't hear it. I bet I could find a use for a xylophone later, especially in the second-ish movement that I got planned. There will probably be xylophones. What is even the origin of the word xylophone? Comes from the word xylo, which means of wood, which is from ancient Greek.
Xylo.
Thanks. Xylo, which means wood. We have xylarium, xylobios, xylocane, xylograph, xylophagy, the eating of wood. There you go, xylophagy. It means to eat wood. We have xylology. What else is here? Xylotrios. What's the longest one here? Xylooligosaccharide. Cool. Related terms. Dutch.
Xylo.
Xylophone.
Xylophone.
Xylophone. Thanks, Dutch. What is this?
Xylolied. Xylolied.
That's a fun word. Alright, whatever. Enough words. Xylolied. Oh yeah, the harp stops doing stuff here. Probably because you can't hear it over the cacophony of stuff happening. Also, you had enough notes. Man, I should have a piece that starts off with like a nice piano parts. I think that'd be very cool. I just haven't done that. For some reason, it only came to my mind right now. Okay. How long have I been live? 3 hours? I'm gonna go take a nap. It's nap time. I'll see you guys soon-ish. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tonight. We'll see. Goodbye. And make sure to practice your scales. I'll be back with more orchestrating or writing soon. Bye-bye.